Mark Waldo Ward, LAZ, you heard? Pottersville, Brownsville, Brooklyn, DC was good. The Big Fact Show, aka the Super Fact Show, where you get them super facts about the rap game. Nigga, tune in.
What up, world? This is the Big Fact Show. It's your boy Mark Waldo Ward. We got St. Laz in here. How you doing tonight, brother?
Chilling like a villain, my bro. How you?
Chilling. You know, right before we got on air, you was making this point about how, you know, we was talking about the dead, you know, there's been like this wave of dead rappers, which, you know, may or may not even be, before the point you make, may or may not even be any more or less than it used to be. It just gets reported on more. It wasn't like rappers had a lot of media attention in the 90s and plenty of them died, but that's neither here nor there. You made a fascinating point to me because, you know, a lot of times when they say rapper killed in the headline, you never heard of the person. And then when you go look at them, they really didn't have much of a rap career, huh?
Exactly. Like, dudes be using that shit for clickbait. You understand what I'm saying? Dudes be using that shit for clickbait. And that shit is black and rap exploitation. Real talk. Like,
so that's like hip hop sites like kind of transforming Black Death to fit their format to profit off of Black Death.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when one of these sites see that a rapper got murdered, they already getting their shit together. Like, oh, let me go do a video. It's gonna get ad money. I'm gonna make $300 off of this today. You understand what I'm saying? People clicking on this to see about this new rapper dying. That shit is disgusting, my nigga. I can't take part in no shit like that. Real talk.
Yeah, I feel you, man. I cut out a lot of shit I used to watch, and if I just miss out on a story or something, like every now and then, now that I stopped watching a lot of shit, I find out I miss out on some shit that I wasn't aware of. But I figure the algorithm will get that shit to me. But let me ask you this though. And I ain't trying to be morbid, but I'm just curious. In the Nipsey Hussle situation, you know, they labeled the perpetrator, as you would, as a rapper. And he did have a couple songs with Nipsey Hussle and all that shit. When that situation was revealed and you looked into who Homeboy was, because everybody did you consider him a legitimate rapper?
I never really...
He had like 9 songs on SoundCloud. Like I believe 2 of them had Nipsey Hussle on them, and none of them had more than like 500 views or listens or whatever, since it's SoundCloud.
Like I said, you know, I never really heard I mean, you know, all of this shit is alleged, so we don't know what really took place in that case. You understand what I'm saying? Just yet. I mean, we don't know. You feel what I'm saying? But as far as, you know, motherfuckers love to say a nigga was a rapper. You feel what I'm saying? But how I feel is like, if a nigga wasn't a full-time rapper, he wasn't really a rapper. You feel me? If he was just some dude that rap, I'm not talking about in this situation, I'm talking about in any situation. If a dude wasn't rapping full-time, like that was what he was trying to do in life, then you're not really a rapper. Like if you're a nigga who can rap, but you understand what I'm saying, you do some other shit mostly, then that's what you do. You know what I mean? If you a gangster, you a gangbanger, a drug dealer, a nigga who work at Foot Locker, a nigga who's working at UPS, and you rap on the side a little bit, then you really the UPS nigga or the Foot Locker nigga. You feel what I'm saying? You're not really a rapper, because when you are really a rapper, it's like, nigga, this is all you really do. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I don't got no, it's like one of my favorite movies, Freddie Got Fingered with Tom Green. You understand what I'm saying? Nigga,
you have a problem with my legs? Nah, but apparently you do, or you're really lazy.
That movie has some deep shit in it. When a nigga ran up on a nigga, he was like, yo, I'm a cartoonist, man. You feel what I'm saying? And he's like, so what do you do now? He was like, I make cheese sandwiches. He was like, you want some advice? You want to be a cartoonist? Quit the shitty cheese job. You understand what I'm saying? So the science he was telling him is like, yo, bro, you ain't gonna make it. Like, you understand, having something else to fall back on. Like, you can't have nothing else to fall back on. Nigga gotta just be about this rap shit and that's it. So that's what a rapper is to me. And if a nigga not all the way in it like that, nigga not a rapper. And that's annoying when niggas call niggas rappers. Oh, rapper such and such. arrested for double murder. Man, I never heard of this nigga in my life. Like,
so let me ask you this then. Do you remember who Silento is?
That name is familiar.
He had that #1 song from Orlando. Watch me whip, whip, watch me nay nay.
Oh yeah.
You know, he got arrested for a murder like a week ago. I don't even know if he ever even released a song after that. And is it fair to call him a rapper?
I don't even know if I don't know. You talking about the dude that's actually spitting bars on the track?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he is a rapper. He had a record.
Bro, I don't think he put out no music after that though.
I don't know. Me and my kids was in the car like this, whipping and nay-naying. You feel what I'm saying? So
yeah, you didn't know homeboy got locked up for a murder?
I heard about that.
Crazy.
Yeah, but you know, unfortunately, man, just because a motherfucker get locked up for a murder,
don't mean he
actually did it. Like in this country, this shit crazy. Yeah. Like niggas could get locked up
Mac.
for a murder. He ain't do shit.
Free Mac. That's definitely one of the innocent.
Real talk. Like, I don't know, man.
I mean, that's enough of that type shit. You know, I'm definitely more about positive vibes only. And you was talking about in one of your recent jail, you know, your jail stories is taken off on YouTube, and you included a clip of us talking about the Wu-Tang. And you said that reminded you that you forgot to mention Only Built for Cuban Links 2 and how good it was, and we can touch on that. But you also ventured that might be the best sequel ever. So after we talk about Only Built for Cuban Links, I want to talk about some sequels. But this is going to be us off the top of our head, and then we're going to look into it and see if there's some shit we overlooked. But I mean, let's start off with the Only Built for Cuban Links. What do we got there? It's production from Alchemist, Dr. Dre. I know there was like some other big name that has some beats on there. The verses, RZA, of course. The verses, beats, guest appearances, the shit with D Block, the Beanie Siegel, Slick Rick being on there. I mean, shit. What stands out to you about it?
You're talking about the Only Built the Cuban Links 2, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, the reason why I mentioned it is because when you mentioned it the other day when we was talking about Wu-Tang shit, and you was asking like, yo, did you fuck with their newest shit and shit like that? And then I remembered, because I had kind of forgot, but I had remembered, I'm like, nah, I'm bugging out. Like, Cuban Links 2 was a motherfucking masterpiece. Like, I remember getting that album and listening to it and say, I don't even know why I'm doing this to myself, because there's no way in the world a nigga could top or compare to the original Cuban Links. Word. So I said, let me pop this shit in and just see let me see this attempt. You understand what I'm saying? And every fucking song was out of control. Like, every fucking song was out of control.
And it felt like a real sequel too.
That shit might be crazier than the original Cuban Links, bro. I know that shit sound like blasphemy, but I'm gonna keep it real with you. That nigga put his drawers into that Cuban Links too, because when you mentioned that shit just came back to me. I'm like, nah. I started thinking of verses from off that shit. I'm like, nah, that nigga went crazy on that Cuban Links too. You feel what I'm saying? So that shit deserves an honorary mention for it. That may be the greatest sequel of all time. But see, you know, it depends on what we consider a sequel, because EPMD dropped Strictly Business, Business as Usual. That could be considered sequels, and they are, because Jane and certain songs was continuations and shit like that. So them niggas is the masters of sequel albums. But I'm talking about a follow-up album from one major classic album that was known to be a super classic, and then a part 2 was made. Cuban Links 2 was crazy. You understand what I'm saying? Like, next level crazy.
I mean, I feel you about it might be better than part 1. The only thing that made me reluctant about that is Verbal Intercourse. Like, I still think that might be the best Nas verse.
It was a great, well, you know, Nas' favorite rapper is Raekwon, so when he got on that track, he was making sure he showed his ass. You feel what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? You put a nigga on the track with his favorite rapper, he gonna act stupid.
Yeah, especially when they was mad. I mean, I don't think people realize how young they was at the time. So that's like when all the testosterone and competitiveness is flowing.
Word. Like, I mean, I remember I used to be in the penitentiary and I used to be like, damn, these niggas is young niggas my age living their life out there. Like, you feel me? Like, Raekwon's probably a little bit older than me. You feel what I'm saying? But niggas was in my age group still. And I'm like, oh, these niggas out there living their life, doing them. I'm in the penitentiary. Like, you feel what I'm saying? But then I also remember being ignorant and young where I felt like niggas in the streets was corny. And if you wasn't in jail, if you wasn't up north, you wasn't a real nigga. Like, that's how young and ignorant I was. So, you feel me? Shit was crazy.
Word. But back to the sequels. What are some, like, when I think of sequels off the top of my head? I know you got Blueprint 2, the Marshall Mathers sequel, which I don't think I ever heard. I guess Chronic 2001 is a sequel.
That was heavy.
The Carters. You know, Carter 1, 2, 3, 4, and I believe 5 now. Yeah, those was legit. We ain't counting no mixtapes, right? Because mixtape series, it'd be way too many to get into.
Yeah, it'd be 1,000. But it's like, I'm not familiar with Mad Lil Wayne shit. I'm gonna keep it real. And the first original Marshall Mathers, that shit was the greatest album he ever made. You feel what I'm saying? After that, I don't know if I heard part 2 in its entirety, but that Dr. Dre crime, that shit definitely was a monster, mega monster sequel album.
Yeah, it might got Raekwon. I mean, shit, that's basically the introduction to Eminem. Well, I don't know if it's an introduction, but that certainly kind of cemented him as somebody who's gonna be like 2 platinum instead of 1 platinum. I mean, Snoop was at the top of his game. They got the Jay-Z Ghost Written Joint. I mean, I don't know what the fuck happened to Hitman and Mailman.
See, but when it comes to this rap shit though, like on the I mean, like, you know, a lot of shit is based on sales, like Grammys and American Music Awards and shit like that. Should be based on sales and shit. Like, we talking about straight fire and dopeness, like street shit. Like, Dr. Dre album was bananas. Raekwon album, he ain't get no super duper major push. It had a good push, that Cuban Links too. It had a good push.
I think it was on an independent. I know it wasn't on Aftermath.
Yeah, it didn't have no mega, exactly. So, you know, content wise, Raekwon shit was just through the roof, better than anybody's shit once we said, because we talking about content. We talking about shit that, you know, like, bro, like when I hear bars, like the type of shit Ray and Ghost be spitting on certain shit, like that shit is like, that shit next level. Like, I don't know which album that was. Was it Cuban Links 2? Where the nigga Ghost says some shit like, they found a 3-year-old with a Love Daddy shirt on in the back of the steps. I can't remember exactly how he said it. But yo, that nigga was spitting fucking crazy. You understand what I'm saying? Spitting. I'm gonna give you the link to the song, man. I can't remember the shit right now. But he was like, some shit, they found a 3-year-old or some shit like that, strangled to death with a Love Daddy t-shirt, with a Love Daddy shirt on, in the back of the steps.
You said you never heard the Iron Flag song where he be crying. You should hear that, John. He got a solo song in that Iron Flag song where he be crying when he rap.
Nah, I heard that. I heard the shit where he crying all through the song.
Yeah.
I think I heard that shit before. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I heard mostly everything, nigga. My memory.
Hey, speaking of sequels, did Supreme Clientele have a sequel? Or Bulletproof Wallets? I think one of them Jones did.
I'm not sure, man, but Bulletproof Wallets and Supreme Clientele, both of them shits is like top 10 greatest albums ever made in hip hop. Like, real talk, man. Niggas be sleeping on Ghost. Like, I'm gonna keep it real. Ghost is one of the greatest rappers that ever lived. Like, I mean, Ray too.
You know, it wasn't on an episode with you, but on one of my episodes, with somebody. I forgot who it was. I was saying, if you really think about it, Ghostface might got more classic albums than any other member of the Wu-Tang, just because of that Def Jam run. Remember, he had that all singing album that had the song with Tiana Taylor on it and all that shit.
I mean, let's keep this a whole rap. You feel what I'm saying? Let's keep this a whole Benjamin. Real talk. Ghost is like the strongest member in the Wu-Tang Clan. You feel what I'm saying? Ray is also ridiculously strong, but I'm just talking about a nigga that's just like ridiculous, flawlessness. Ghostface is probably the #1 rapper in the Wu, like the dopest rapper. Then Ray. This is just my opinion. You feel what I'm saying? All of them niggas got their own hot style, but in my opinion, it's Ghost first, then it's Ray. This is just my opinion. Ghost first, then it's Ray, then it's the Jizza, then it's Inspector Deck, then it's Meth. Now, you know what I mean? You know what? I may have to say Meth before. Now I'm gonna keep my order. Then it's Meth. Then I'm not even gonna name nobody else. But the bottom line is Ghost, Ray, Jizza, Inspector Deck, Meth. Those is the super heavy hitters, and then everybody else is nice too. U-Guard is nice to me. I always love U-Guard. U-Guard is nice. Master Killer is nice. Cap is nice. Cap is fire. You feel what I'm saying? Like, all of these niggas is nice. The RZA is fire. All of them is fire. But we talking about if I had to put the starting 5 of the Wu together, if I had a gun to my head and somebody said, nigga, pick 5 Wu-Tang members and they the starting 5 of the team, these is the niggas I would have to pick. Ray, Ghost, Jizza, Inspector Deck, Method Man.
You're talking just for rapping then? Because if you
not just rapping.
Then where's the RZA?
The RZA is the 6th man. You feel me? Like the RZA is the
if you include production,
fire, no doubt. But we talking about.
Well, that's what I meant by just rapping.
You want me to get hurtful? I mean, you want me to keep it real? All of them niggas done made classic songs that wasn't produced by the RZA.
True.
All of them. Cuban Links, that was what's his name? Fourth Disciple. That was his name, Fourth Disciple. He was the nigga that was producing most of those tracks on that. It was not too much RZA production on a lot of major fire super Wu-Tang shit. RZA is that nigga.
Well, you know what happened though? You know about the flood?
Yeah, I heard about that. But also,
so some of those was that they had RZA songs in place and they had to like quickly assemble, reassemble them jumps. And back to your man Inspector Deck, they said he had a whole album that was as good or better than any of the jumps of the first round of albums that got lost.
Nigga, I done lost computers. I done lost 1,000 songs on some G shit. I done had Mac computers where I had 1,000 songs in that shit. And the whole hard drive blew out, and I might have recovered 200 or 300 of those songs. Rest of them shits is a rap. I'm talking about whole O.B.F.C.L, not just me. You feel what I'm saying? Them shits is in the universe somewhere that should never be found. So it's like that shit happens in the game. You feel what I'm saying? But the RZA's that nigga. Production bananas. He the nigga who put the whole shit together. He the Abbott. You feel what I'm saying? But all of them niggas that made monsters, some of the best music they ever made, that wasn't produced by the RZA, because let's keep it real, niggas wasn't always fucking with each other like that. Word. You feel what I'm saying? Niggas had their little different, like any and every group is no group. That nigga P.F. Cuttin told me that shit. I always say this, but it was so true that it's funny. Like P.F. Cuttin told me that way back in the days. We was in his crib in East New York, and the nigga was like, yo, he was like, yo, your group is fire, my nigga. O.B.F.C.L. He was like, too bad no group stays together. I was like, nah, we different, nigga. I mean, we was up north together. We from the Ville. He was like, yo, no group stays together, my nigga. It's impossible. You feel what I'm saying? And sure enough, he's right. You feel what I'm saying? No group stays together, my nigga. We may come back together and form Voltron from time to time to destroy a wild road beast. You feel what I'm saying? But for the most part, Niggas got to do their separate things once niggas become grown-ass men with their own families and responsibilities and things like that. You feel what I'm saying? So them niggas wasn't always fucking with each other and they was still doing music. You feel what I'm saying? So, yeah. So like I said, on rap, those are the starting five. You feel what I'm saying? RZA is like the manager of the team. You feel what I'm saying? And the rest of them niggas is nasty. Like every championship team, wasn't just the starting five who won the chip for them niggas. They had a 6-man. They had niggas coming off the bench that was doing their numbers. Them 2, 3, 4, 5 rebounds that might have won the game came off of niggas off the bench. You feel what I'm saying? So team is team. You feel what I'm saying? But we talking about the heavy hitters though.
I can't disagree too much. I personally probably rank Meth higher. I definitely, if I was going to get a feature from any of them and it was the same price, I would have much more faith in getting a good Method Man feature.
Meth is more of a charismatic artist, and he is the dude that if not Ghost and Ray, I would pay Meth for a feature. You understand what I'm saying? Because Meth got more charisma, more style, more. I mean, like he's just an all-around artist that could blend into any type of track. It could be a chick track, it could be a thug track, it could be a club track. Meth could deliver. Now the Jizza and Inspector Deck, they're more serious artists. So
they need to make their own music.
Yeah, I wouldn't even fuck with them with a track unless it was some deep shit or some crazy ill b-boy shit or some next level.
But you remember the Pete Rock joint with the Pete Rock album? There was an Inspector Deck song on there that was nasty. Inspector Deck would do good with Pete Rock.
Yeah, man. I mean,
I can see you on a song with Inspector Deck produced by Pete Rock.
Hell yeah. I mean, I could be on a song with Inspector Deck produced by anybody.
Hey, shameless plug though. If y'all didn't know, our Yuck Mouth episode that recently came out, he revealed that he was releasing an album entirely produced by Pete Rock. That's going to be called Crack Rock. So go check out that Yuck Mouth episode. But yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Pete Rock is definitely one of my favorite producers of all time, though. Like, he had a sound that was just like ridiculously before his time. Like, one of my favorite songs he ever produced was that joint for AZ, that Rather Unique.
Yeah.
While I'm rather unique, eat East New York, eat East New York. That shit is stuck in my head for life, nigga.
Were you locked up when that came out, or were you free?
Was I that shit right there, like on some G shit, like in my jail stories, I'm gonna speak about it when I get to this certain jail. Like that album was my whole soundtrack for that jail.
I was curious, did you see the single for Rather Unique?
Nah, never.
It had like 3 remixes, and
yeah, I heard
that one of them was like Easy Mo B, but one of them had extra verse.
All of them was fire. I heard them.
Yeah,
I heard them shits. But I mean, when I was up top, like, you know, the jail that I was in, that shit was the worst jail on the planet Earth to try to get like new music. Like, they didn't have no MTV, no video show, none of that.
And you got AZ?
And I got the album sent up.
Man, the World Don't Stop must have been your shit.
Was it? That was my shit. Yo, World Don't Stop. Stop. The whole album, like, I was bumping that whole album like crazy. But Your World Don't Stop, Rather Unique, and Sugar Hill, and motherfucking
More Money, More Murder, More Homicide.
Oh Happy, Jackie. All of that shit was my shit. Like, I'm a mad big AZ fan, boy. Know what I mean?
Well, speaking of sequels, he actually got the sequel to that coming out on Get On Down Records this year. Looking at other sequels, the ones I remember when we talked about it, you got The Best of Both Worlds. I didn't get in there. I'm pretty sure they made a War Report 2. I know they made like a Tikal 2.0. The Redman Method Man albums, I'm pretty sure had the same name, so they'd be sequels. One strong one that you might not fuck with, but Run the Jewels 2 was fucking phenomenal. State Property had a sequel. And those was the only ones I could remember off the top of my head. Like I said, next time we talk about this, we'll look them up. But those are the ones I can remember. What did you think of the Blueprint 2?
I can't remember if I heard the whole Blueprint 2 or not, man. I can't remember at all, man. I really can't.
I thought it was too long, and then they released a version called 2.1 that was only 1 CD, which basically had all the strong songs, which I thought was much better. I thought that was like the first time a Jay-Z album had filler to me.
I know the original Blueprint album though is probably top 5 greatest albums in hip hop history. Though.
I consider it to be the best album in hip hop history, and I think the thing that separates it from Illmatic is the fact of Song Cry. I feel that he established himself as a deeper kind of artist with Song Cry.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite joints, man. I mean, but that album was a masterpiece. Like every single song, you won't skip through that one song on the entire album. Like you let the whole album rock and just let it play from the beginning to the end and then start back over and play again. You feel what I'm saying?
So remember they had the hidden tracks, the lyrical exercise, and the I think the girls part 2.
That shit wasn't even a hidden track to me. That shit was like my favorite track on the whole fucking album.
But you remember how you had to like let the jump play for it to? I don't know. People don't remember. People used to put like hidden tracks on CDs and shit.
Yeah, I've put hidden tracks on CDs. You feel what I'm saying? But yeah, that album was phenomenal. It definitely was. You feel what I'm saying? The shit was phenomenal. Like, you know, like I would say, I don't know about the greatest of all time. You know what I'm saying? But the like Machiavelli, the same vibes I got from Blueprint is the same vibes I got from Tupac album Machiavelli. It's flawless. There's no skipping. You won't skip one song. It's a storybook, just like Blueprint. That's an album. Like album is not a compilation of songs. That shit gotta read like a storybook. You feel what I'm saying? And the Blueprint was like that. And the infamous Mobb Deep was like that.
Oh, for sure.
I Am was like that. Nas, I Am was like that. Ready to Die was like that. You feel what I'm saying? Very few albums actually read like just like a storybook, my nigga. Like if you skip a song, you missing something. You feel what I'm saying? So it's hard to do that, man. But I'm glad and thankful that I came up in an era where, you know, we had a 5 mic rating system with the Source where motherfuckers went hard when they dropped the album. Because if you got anything less than 3.5 mics, you was looking funny. Really 3 mics. If you got anything less than 3 mics, you was looking funny. You understand what I'm saying? If you got anything less than 3 mics, you was looking crazy. Your career
or you was looking like you made some motherfucking top flight music from the South that the motherfuckers couldn't understand. Like when they gave classic UGK albums 2 mics and other such bullshit.
See, I'm not familiar with that. I don't know if all the atrocities that they committed with the mic system, but you know,
many, especially towards Southern Midwestern.
But like,
Stankonia got. I know one Outkast album got 5 mics, but one that was better than it got 4 mics. I know they negatively reviewed. I don't know. I'm not gonna get into it. I mean, I'm glad you feel that way, and it probably worked that way for artists in the North Atlantic. But outside of that mic system shit was some bullshit. Especially when Benzino album got like 4 mics one time, and in the same issue that a UGK album got 3 mics.
Nigga had the Made Men album with five mics and that shit.
Hey, it did have a nice Scarface verse though.
That nigga was bugging out. Nigga had the Made Men with 5 mics. Oh, niggas was wildin'. Nah, but
I mean, I ain't gonna say I know nothing about Benzino, bro. But
I was fucking with that Made Men shit though. Like, I'm gonna keep it real. I was up north. I was fucking. He had some harsh. I can't remember what the first.
He had some bomb features. I remember there was a Jadakiss verse on that jump that was insane.
Nah, but it was just hardcore shit. Like, you feel what I'm saying?
I bought that shit because of 5 mics too, man. Benzino owed me $10, man.
Nah, but what I mean by the mic system, see, I'm gonna keep it 100 with you, bro. You know, of course, we didn't live in the age of the internet. When the internet opened up, niggas was able to get access to as much South music as they possibly could. You feel me? But back in those days, shit was very regional. You understand what I'm saying? So it's not that niggas wasn't feeling South music. is that we didn't know half of that shit existed because the shit was so regional.
I can assure you that the source was well aware of the existence of Rap-A-Lot Records.
No, of course.
And Jive Records. I mean, Too Short and UGK was on Jive. You know
what, my nigga, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you, right? Let me tell you something. You know, what happened was back in those days when rap was becoming advanced and evolving, and you had niggas like Nas and Big Pun spitting fucking shit that wowed people and spin people's heads. When a nigga had a slow southern rap style, it was resonating into some people's heads as rap that wasn't advanced yet. You feel what I'm saying? When you look back at that shit now and listen to it, you may feel different. And then you may
I agree in some artists' case, but that's not applicable to Bun B or Scarface. They rap fast and lyrical and got love from East Coast people, just not the source.
Yeah, but you know what? Let me tell you something else, bro. Like a lot of artists too was making heavy independent music. So, and I'm not talking about Scarface and them niggas, but I'm talking about like maybe a lot of artists that got overlooked. Niggas sound quality game. You feel what I'm saying? Like, not saying that niggas, everybody's shit was super up in New York, but you know, New York had access, they had access to studios, they had access to record labels, shit like that. So motherfuckers was in the South doing it from the dirt. You feel what I'm saying?
Four-track shits that gospels use, like gospel choirs use.
So
yeah, you're right.
So the mic system and a lot of shit was, it wasn't just music, my nigga. Niggas might have been rating niggas sound quality. You feel what I'm saying? The mix down on certain songs, like not saying that everybody in New York had the crispiest mix downs, but I'm just saying I could listen back to some of my shit from back in the days that I was tight that niggas ain't play on the radio or niggas felt wasn't dope. And I listen to the mix down and I'll be like, that mix down was fucking horrible. You understand what I'm saying? Like I see why niggas ain't want to play that shit. You feel what I'm saying? But when you were artists back in the days, you making the music, all you can hear is the music. You feel what I'm saying? You can't hear the mix down and this and that. So, you know, as you get, like one time a nigga checked me before, I forgot who it was. I was in the studio and I was listening to some shit. Like, that shit sound right. And nigga was like, nah, man, that shit don't sound right. Nigga was like, yo, you been in this game too long, bro. You gotta snap yourself out of that shit and know when something don't sound. You gotta listen. And he was right. And I was like, yo, you right. Like, I mean, gotta start really listening to a nigga mix to see if that shit sound good or not. Like some niggas shit be sounding whack. Like, you feel what I'm saying? My shit in general, my shit too. Like, I don't put mad shit. I listen to that shit. I be like, I put that trash ass mix down out. You feel what I'm saying? Like, so you know, it happens. But as you advance and get grown with this shit, you start getting clean and crispy with this shit, man.
You know, you made me think of something. You know, you said something about when they started playing the Southern music in New York. And I remember at first, it wasn't like you was hating or vehemently opposed to it, but you was questioning the quality of a lot of that shit. And that was like the real era of ringtone and mumble rap. And there was some garbage ass motherfuckers. I ain't gonna call out no names, but some of them resided in St. Louis, that's for sure. Whatever, a lot of one-hit wonder dudes. And I could kind of see how somebody could form that opinion. And then, you know, a lot of people, it took them a minute to catch on to 2 Chainz and Gucci Mane. That wasn't just some simple shit. I really wish that y'all had got the Southern rap the decade before when it was the quality, substantial music. You know, the UGK on the radio, the Tila. You probably never heard of Tila.
But, I know who Tila is.
What shit? Salute.
Yeah.
But yeah, if shit like that had been on the radio, I bet it would have got embraced quicker than Huey. You know what I mean? Or Chingy and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Let me tell you, bro. I was out here. Listen, let me tell you something, bro. Look, when I tell these jail stories about Camp Gabriel and this other jail I was in, I'm going to speak about it. I was one of the only niggas in New York State Penitentiary with that Outkast album, my nigga. Like, I'm talking about shoving that shit down niggas' throat like this. Yo, this shit fire. He's like, I don't listen to them Atlanta, South niggas. I'm like, son, these niggas is fire.
Yeah.
You heard? I had seen them niggas video on Yo MTV Raps when I was in Franklin one day. I was locked up.
Are you talking about like Players Ball era Outkast? You talking like Bombs Over Baghdad?
Yeah, I'm talking about Players Ball. Like they
Oh, the
first
first one. Southern
Southern Playalistic. When they came out with first, I seen the Southern Player. I don't know if I think I seen Players Ball video first.
Because you know it was a Christmas song and it was on the LaFace Christmas album and they did a video before Outkast even had a single.
Yeah, so I saw that shit on Yo MTV Raps when I was up north one time, right? I seen that shit. I'm like, yo, that fucking beat is stupid, right? And then that hook was stuck in my head for months. Like, all the planes came from far away. Where afros and braids.
Yeah.
Giving them gangster ride. Now, I ain't gonna sing the whole shit. But bottom line is, once I heard that, I was like, yo, them niggas is official. I called home. Yo, mom, it's this group called Outkast. It's a crown on the front of the shit. Send that. She sent that up. That's back in the days. You could only get shit sent up by like the Wiz. They had to send it to you. You feel what I'm saying? Right. So boom. I got that Outkast tape. I was listening to that shit. Niggas was like, niggas used to come to my queue. Yo, let me hold the tape for the night. I'd be like this, yo, listen to this. And he's like, nah, man, I don't want to listen to no South. I'd be like, yo, son, listen to this fucking Outkast tape, nigga. And niggas used to listen to that shit. And once niggas heard that, you need to get up, get out, and get something. Don't let the days of your life pass by. Once niggas heard that, it was a wrap, nigga. You heard? Once niggas heard that get up, get out, and once niggas heard that Players Ball, that Southern Playalistic, that hootie hoo, that shit was my shit, that hootie hoo. Everything on the whole fucking album. You understand what I'm saying? This shit was nuts. But like I said, I was up north. I was just into that whole vibe. I'm like, let me vibe to these niggas. And it was just from that Players Ball video because them niggas was fly. You understand what I'm saying? Them niggas had them caddies out there. You feel me? Niggas was pulling up, looking like pimps and players. I was like, yo, I got to get that album. Real talk, niggas talking that shit. You feel me?
I mean, that's how it was back in the day, though. Like, you'd have to spend your $10 to $20 on a CD to give somebody a chance when you only seen like one video. Sometimes that shit burn you. Sometimes you get a classic.
Now, I knew them niggas. I already knew because I already knew. From that Players Ball video, I was like, that album going to be fire, my nigga.
Hey, Laz, what's the joint you was disappointed in that you paid for?
An album?
Yeah.
Let me tell you something, my bro. I'm going to keep it real with you. I may be able to name a couple, but let me tell you something. I'm a hip-hopologist. Like, back in them days, in the 90s and all of that, like, my album selection game was stupendous. Like, you feel what I'm saying? Like, my collection of albums was out of control. I don't think I had 1 week. We used to battle up north with who had the dopest tape collection. Nobody had a crazier collection than my nigga Steve-O. My son Steve-O, that nigga collection, that nigga shit was retarded. You feel what I'm saying? Like, he made my shit look like I had a mini collection compared to that nigga, but you feel me? I
can name Mad Jones. I was disappointed in Capadonna.
I was disappointed in the Village though.
Yeah, that's one I was disappointed in. He said he freestyled that whole album, and the only song I liked was Milk This Cow.
He had a couple of hot joints from it. The song itself, The Pillage, was fire. You feel what I'm saying? But
I was disappointed. I was disappointed in Group Home.
I'm not going to say I went and bought it, though. I probably got it and heard it.
I was disappointed in Group Home. I was disappointed in the first Rod Digger. Man, it's been Mad Jones I was disappointed in, to be real with you. In a way, I was disappointed in the Method Man first album, even though it was a classic. I felt like it could have been more of a classic.
Yeah, that shit was a classic, but it's a classic now. If you go back, that's how you know if an album was fire or not. If you go back and listen to that shit now, you'll be like, yo, this shit is fire. That shit, when I first stepped on the scene, niggas was petrified. You hear that, you'll be like, oh, hold on now. And when you hear that motherfucking, the original version of You're All That I Need, I'll Be There For You. The original version, when you hear that, you'll be like, okay, hold on now. You understand what I'm saying? Let me not jump out the window, because then he has some shit where, if I'm not crazy, it got a sample from the video game Ultraman. You remember that video game for Nintendo, Ultraman?
It was like, he kind of looked like Mega Man, but he was like blue and orange.
Nah, he was a robot, and it come from like Japanese or Chinese, like Godzilla. Like, he was a nigga who fought Godzilla before, something like that. He like a giant robot. That was my.
We ain't have many Nintendos in my neighborhood.
Yo, that fucking game was so fire, my nigga. That game was so fire.
I ain't never have no Nintendo, to be real with you.
This nigga extra struggled, man. You know what I mean? But like, yo, I think he had a song I think that song had a sample from Ultraman in it, if I'm not mistaken. But I could be wrong. That original All That I Need song.
You know, out of all them, I listened to the first Old Dirty more than any of them.
Old Dirty Bastard first album was fucking retarded. That shit was, yo, my
I don't think people comprehend how deep it is.
You know what my favorite song is on that album?
Rawhide.
That is my second favorite joint. But my favorite joint on that shit, nigga, is Snakes. A 5%. All he knew was 1 to 10. He loved the guards with his heart, but his soul was filled with sin. A fierce lion, never leave the crib without the iron. That nigga was acting crazy, that nigga the RZA on that. And when he come through, niggas be looking out, hoping he gets shot and taken out and locked the fuck up in Brooklyn House in PC on a liquid diet. But he was louder than the riot. And that nigga Old Dirty just come with bad, Leroy Brown, baddest band in the whole wide town, badder than you and me.
Badder than the Deep Blue Sea.
That shit, that Snakes. You know what I was mad about? That song wasn't longer, bro. Pause. That shit, like, I wanted to hear 10 more minutes of them niggas rapping to that beat. You feel what I'm saying? That's when you know something is fire. I'm like, nigga, I want to hear 10 more minutes of that shit. You feel what I'm saying? So, shit was fire. My nigga Grave Diggers was fire. I mean, my nigga Shabazz' Disciple. I mean, motherfucking Hellraiser. Hellraiser is fire. Hellraiser is one of the greatest rap. Him and shit. Let me tell you something about them niggas. Sons of Man. When they was Sons of Man, and when they was motherfucking come on, man. My memory is going, bro. My memory is going.
My Wu-Tang knowledge ain't as deep as
Angels. When they was Thug Angels, you feel what I'm saying? When they was Thug Angels, and when they was motherfucking Sons of Man.
Sons of Man used to be called Thug Angels?
I mean, they eventually changed their name to Thug Angels. You feel what I'm saying? And Hellraiser changed his name to Heaven Raiser. You feel what I'm saying? But Hellraiser and Shabazz's Disciple, both of them niggas is two of the greatest rappers that ever lived on the low. And they don't get their just due with the world of the Wu-Tang, but I'm gonna keep it real with you. Them niggas was nastier than a lot of niggas that niggas know as main members of the Wu-Tang. Like, you feel what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna keep it real. I did a few tracks with Hellraiser, but one track in particular that I did with that nigga, like I could barely survive on a track with that.
What's it called?
It's called Grandmother Praise. We got like three, like we got one lost unreleased track that nobody could find. We got this joint called Thug Tears, me, him, and Shabazz's Disciple. That shit is super flames. Shit called Thug Tears. And then me and Hellraiser got this shit called Grandmother Praise. And that shit right there, my nigga, like I said,
that'll be at the end of the audio episode to everybody listening.
My nigga, that nigga spit a verse on that Grandmother Praise shit that even niggas like Nas hear that shit and be like, damn, that nigga spit. You feel what I'm saying?
Man, Nas made me sad when I see him these days.
That nigga Nas on top of his game, though, my nigga. Like, that nigga living his life. That nigga's a 46-year-old nigga or whatever he is, 47 years old. Like, that nigga pushing 50. That nigga looking like he 35. You know what I'm saying? That nigga stay with a badass.
You think so?
That nigga stay with a badass bitch with some bread.
I mean, that's true. That part's true, but
nah, listen, son. That nigga stay with a badass bitch with some bread. He stay with a bitch with some super bread. You feel what I'm saying?
He be looking like a Bama though, man. Like, bro, he be looking like the motherfucker in the club that's 20 years old to be there.
Nah, my nigga. You heard that shit that he got with DJ Khaled?
Nah,
I mean,
I heard some of his new songs. Life is Good is dope. I ain't trying his music. I still think he should release music. It's just,
so listen, let me
I don't know.
something.
I be feeling like he be playing himself a little bit with some of the shit he be wearing and some of the moves he be making, like the Nicki Minaj shit.
I don't know nothing about, like, I haven't seen like the type of shit he be wearing and shit like that. I ain't get a chance to check that. But
I be seeing it in the videos, like, because I watch every Nas video to come out. I'm still checking for his music.
But what type of shit you talking about that he be wearing?
It'd be a little too tight and he'd be a little too heavy. It's like he trying to look young.
Yo, my nigga, let me tell you a secret that you may not know. Let me tell you a secret that you may not know, my nigga. When you get to a certain age, bro, you feel what I'm saying? That dad bod, like, son, I got the dad bod. That
bro,
dad bod, my nigga.
Hey, I'm a certain age.
Let me tell you something, bro. That dad bod, son, you would never get as much pussy thrown at you in your life than when you have a dad bod, my nigga. So
yeah, but you just shouldn't wear Versace shirts that have a European fit, I guess.
Let me put you on. That's the swag in New York right now, my nigga, to look like a fat nigga. I'm telling you. You think I'm dead ass. Like, that's the swag, my nigga. You gotta be a fat nigga, my nigga. You look like a boss. You look like a plug when you're a fat nigga. You feel what I'm saying? So that's the plug look. That's the whole swag now, the plug look. Me, I always had that type of body when I was a fat nigga. You feel what I'm saying? So now my shit is back in action. And it's like, I'm gonna keep it 100 with you, bro. Like, broads be going crazy over that fat look. You feel what I'm saying? Like, you know why? Because it takes confidence to be a fat nigga like that. It takes confidence to have a dad bod and be out in them streets, you know what I mean, wearing what you want to wear. So, you know, once you get to ages like niggas like Nas, them niggas they ain't going for the young bitches no more.
I mean, you want to know what it is for real though, Laz? If I see him and I feel like he trying to look too young, right? You know what it really is? That make me feel old. Cause I grew up listening to this man, and you know, looking back on it, he was only like 2 years older than me.
Yeah, Nas, but you know what? Let me tell you, bro. I be seeing Nas. He be having like fly shit on, like linen shit, like some be on some shit. I don't ever see the nigga looking too crazy. But in New York, I'm gonna tell you, bro. Like in New York, niggas is on some European fit fat shit, my nigga. That's the style, son.
European fit. I hope they don't be wearing them little ass European shorts.
Nah, I don't wear shorts.
Them European dudes be wearing some tiny ass shorts.
Yeah, I don't wear shorts at all. That episode of The Sopranos fucked me up for life. When that nigga, the first couple episodes, when that nigga.
Nah, it's season 4. I just watched that shit because I'm watching the Talking Sopranos podcast. the New York Don said bosses don't wear shorts.
That's it. I never wore shorts again after I saw that episode. I'm like, I'm Gucci, nigga.
Hey, I got a little story like that. Until I got my kids shit tattooed on me. When I saw Bow Wow get a tattoo, I was like, I ain't never getting a tattoo again.
Yeah, man.
Because I'm like, once Bow Wow getting tattoos, it ain't nothing rebellious about that shit.
Niggas be fucking the tattoo game up. Word up. But like, yeah, man. I don't know, man. Last tattoos I got, like, I put my shackles, my nigga. I did all these shits in one sitting. You feel what I'm saying? Even the tattoo artist was like, bro, I think you should go home and come back tomorrow. Like, it's inhumane to take this much pain in one time. I was like, listen, I'm not going through this shit again tomorrow. Get this shit over with. You feel what I'm saying? And I just held that 8 to 10 hours down. Like, fuck it. You understand what I'm saying?
Man, your arm tattoos was like your brand though for a minute. Like that was smart. Was that your intent to make it recognizable like that?
Nah, of course. Like, you feel what I'm saying? That's what I'm known for, the shacks. It's just that in the wintertime, it's too cold to be flashing them shits. You feel what I'm saying?
Hey, Square Bears, O.B.F.C.L had the hottest tattoos of any rap collective in history.
I mean, we had the
shout out OP.
We had the most rebellious. I seen another nigga that got a loose tattoo on his neck. Like, niggas be bugging out. Like, niggas got to research shit before they get tattoos. I mean, I've seen a nigga with a whole loose tattoo. But after I got my shackles on me, I'm gonna keep it a buck. Everybody started fucking with their arm this way. You feel what I'm saying?
Word.
Everybody started fucking with their arm going up this way. Like, I mean, I ain't see nobody with no chains. I ain't see nobody with no shackles. My shit is slave shackles. You feel me? Like, I took these shits from out of the encyclopedia for the actual slave shackles, a picture of an actual slave shackle that was rusted and old from the early hundred, whatever fucking times it was. I got the real slave shackle image. You feel what I'm saying? And had the niggas designed off the real slave shackle. You feel me? Not just some regular random shackle. This is the African American slave trade actual shackle in the way it looks. You feel what I'm saying?
And that's deep on many levels.
Yeah, I just got that shit on me like as a reminder. So if I ever blow up in the rap game and get a bunch of money and start thinking that I'm fucking I'm Hollywood and shit, every time I look in that mirror, I gotta see those fucking slave shackles on me to remind me where my people came from, nigga. You feel what I'm saying?
Man, I don't even think you know, because I did this straight with Opium. But you know, Opium, he had an article. For those that's listening, Laz had a group called O.B.F.C.L, and one of the most prominent artists was Opium the Hangman. And he got a noose tattooed around his neck, or I guess around his chest and going up his neck. And Media Takeout printed an article. I don't remember what the headline was, but it was a little bit offensive, insulting, I guess you'd say, not offensive, insulting. And so he let me interview him about it. And this is when I had a blog called Drank and Dank. And Media Takeout picked up my interview. And man, I super blew up off that shit, bro. I started getting like writing jobs and shit.
Oh, word? That was your interview when them niggas took that shit?
Not the first one. They had already made the post, but I saw the post and I'd already been listening to y'all music. And I'm like, they calling this dude dumb. I'm like, I never even interacted with him. But I was like, I know this dude ain't dumb. So I reached out to him. I was like, let me interview you, bro, because I know this shit's some garbage. Because, you know, he intelligent as a motherfucker. He the one who told me what O.B.F.C.L meant, because I'd never heard that term before.
No doubt. But yeah, that shit was a good look, that Media Takeout shit. That shit had the whole city. We ain't know.
My followers literally went up 10,000 within an hour of that article being published. Like at one time, my Twitter followers was like 250,000. Like them shits went way down because I stopped caring about Twitter. But man, I got a huge Media Takeout bump.
That's crazy.
Yeah, shout out to OP, whatever he's doing.
That's crazy.
He was a good dude. I used to fuck with a lot of dudes in O.B.F.C.L.
I mean,
O.B.F.C.L, Wood Soldier.
Yeah, O.B.F.C.L is still an active group. Like, you feel what I'm saying? We always did solo projects. Like, I just recorded a new song with the nigga Bunker the other day. You feel what I'm saying?
See, I ain't never interacted with him.
Yeah, I recorded a new song with
I used to interact with I. John Storm heavy. What happened to him?
Yeah, John Storm, I ain't speak to in a minute either. You know what I mean? But
and then what was the Wooden Soldier?
Wooden Soldier is my son. You know what I mean? We still be doing joints. You feel what I'm saying? Motherfucking right now I be doing a lot of recording with my nigga O.B.F.C.L. I mean, the only niggas I really record with now, like on a regular basis, is Bucker and O.B.F.C.L. Like those are two niggas I'm always like. When I do some shit with some niggas,
Lito,
and my son Big Lito, the nigga Big Lito. You know, we just dropped that joint with Crunchy Black.
Oh, I'm glad you said that because I know we about to end this, John. I wanted to talk about that before we get out of here.
I love that song, man.
Man, I do too, bro. You know, my man Rich Gates had a song with Crunchy Black. I'm glad to see. You know, he had some issues. I'm glad to see he making a little bit of a reemergence.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know, when I interviewed DJ Paul, Crunchy Black was with him, and like it was outside this club in Houston. It's a real big deal, and his DJ Screw birthday, and all the Screwed Up clique was performing, and I was interviewing him in like this flatbed outside, and like this huge crowd gathered around, and that Bama Crunchy Black started doing that dance he'd be doing up and down the street, and I just never forget that shit. Cause like motherfuckers got amped as a motherfucker. We talking about like probably like literally 200 people gathered around. And he just started doing the dance up and back to back of the flatbed. I think like the equipment was on and they'd unloaded it. And that band was just doing that little dance he did in the video for like 20 straight minutes too. Motherfucker had some energy.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, man. That's my
y'all Crunchy Black shit is bananas. I guess I should put that there too. That in the what was it, Hellraiser, Grandmothers?
No doubt.
Yeah, I put both them Jones at the end of that. Man,
Yeah.
you having a strong release schedule for somebody who's mostly focusing on putting the jail stories out. Little Flip Jump, Roddy Ricch, 21 Savage, Gunna.
Yeah, bro. And it's
maybe a couple more might be coming.
Jail
Riders, Vados.
Yeah, I got all type of shit in the cut, my nigga. All type of shit in the cut. You feel me? But now that's my new thing. I'm gonna start promoting the music on the jail story shit. So that's the only place you're gonna be really hearing the music or mixtapes and on the jail stories, because it's like that music shit be moving slow, but that jail story shit get it in. So that's where the promo is at. You feel me?
Did you make that song for the series? This at the beginning?
Nah, that's a song that I already had about a jail story that I put in a rhyme. You feel me? Like one of my first jail stories that I told, I had put that story in rhyme form like a couple of years ago and shit. So I just made that shit the new theme song to the show, though. It should sound decent.
I gotta put you on blast though, Laz. What's up with our theme song, the Super Facts joint?
I gotta get some. Luckily, I didn't do it for the Big Facts joint. Because now niggas is hitting me saying, yo, dudes hitting me like, yo, I can't find the joint. It's like 3 Big Facts show. It's like, they ain't the only dudes with a Big Facts show. Them other niggas, it's like 3 niggas with a Big Facts show. So, you know, everything happens for a reason. We gonna
just tell them it's only Z for now. I was trying to do a jump where me, you, and G be on an episode together and make a little announcement and change it up on all the platforms and all that.
That's to do the sports with, right?
Yeah.
See, I don't have a black belt in sports anymore. I used to.
No, I'm just talking about we making an announcement that we're gonna change it to Super Facts and it's gonna be a network and we all gonna have shows and all that shit.
Facts, baby. Let's do it.
All right, well, yeah, the shit that'll be coming soon. I'm getting the Florida thunderstorm, so I know my internet about to start fucking up. So unless you got anything else, that'll be the end of this episode.
Yeah, bro. Hit me up tomorrow, man. Let's try to get another one in if we can.
Yes, sir, most definitely. And this will be up soon. All right, man. You take light.
All right, my broski.
All right, man. Peace.
Let me.
What's going on? This is your man Ryan Hollins, former 10-year NBA veteran, ESPN, CBS analyst, and I got a special shout out to you guys. A big special shout out, man. My guys, my brothers, my family. You know what time it is. Mark, Waldo, Ward, and G from the shop. You know what time it is, guys. The new podcast, SDE, on the Big Facts Network. You heard that. SDE on the Big Facts Network has everything you need to know about men, basketball, music, all that good stuff. In a bag of chips, okay? It's available on YouTube and all DSPs. You know what? Listen to these guys. They're educational. They're informative. They're funny. It's swagger. Just a fella sometimes, you know? So shout out to you guys. Big fans. I appreciate your work. Keep it up, guys.
Mark, Waldo, Ward, LAZ, you heard Pottersville. Brownsville, Brooklyn, DC was good. The Big Fact Show, a.k.a. the Super Fact Show, where you get them super facts about the rap game. Nigga, tune in.